gardeners. It's a nice but a little bit cool day here in Massachusetts, and I decided to come over and check on things over at the garden. Haven't been by here in a couple days because the weather's been a little crummy, but I wanted to see how all of our perennials have been doing. I haven't really planted much more in the garden yet. I am going to put a few more carrots in, maybe some pole beans, but other than that, I think that's going to be it for this year. So let's go ahead and check in on all of the plants. All right, we're starting off in our strawberry beds, and you'll see that they have gotten a lot bigger than when we planted. Remember, we started these from bare root plants, and they've come up quite nicely, and you'll see that a number of them have even started blooming. So we've got some flowers here, and as long as our pollinators do their job, we should have some strawberries probably in a couple weeks time. So all of our beds are doing pretty good. The first few, which are Early Glow, and then this one here I believe is Sparkles. They are the first ones to bloom, and then we have the other one here at the end, which honestly I forget the name of. We have back here also our raspberries, which we have not ever trimmed, so they're kind of a little bit out of control back there. We also have a lot of mint growing up in these beds, and then we also have, from a couple of years ago, just stray strawberries. You'll see those wide leaves right there. Those are starting to grow as well, and they also have blooms. So it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag in the back here in this perennial garden. But the great news is that the strawberries that we planted this season are doing really well, and now that we have these planter boxes, I think that they will be able to come back year after year, and it'll be a lot easier to maintain. As always, we took the chives out a year or two ago, but we still have some that come back each year, so we've got a few chives in there. That's what those little purple buds are. And then our daffodils are starting to die back, at least the flowers are. Then if we move a little bit further over here, the one lonely bean plant that we planted got picked away by an animal, so that is now gone. So this bed is empty, but in the back here, the kale that we transplanted is doing okay. One of them is doing a little bit better than the other. I think we started that one a little bit earlier. We're going to give this one a little bit of water and a chance to kind of grow back. Then over here we have the peas, and they're getting a little bit bigger. Sorry, my dog is going berserk. He likes to protect the garden. And so we have the bee plants are getting a lot taller, and we can see that they're already starting to look for, those tendrils are looking for something to climb on. So I'm gonna have to come back here this week and get the trellis string up on our little structure here. What else do we have? Our milkweed that we just planted, really only one of them is showing any signs of growing, but hopefully the rest will come back soon. And when we get to the perennial bed, I'll show you some of our milkweed from last year is already starting to grow back. This is where we kind of overplanted the wildflower seed. If you remember, my daughter was throwing handfuls of it in here, but you'll see that we already have some growth. Now, some of this I know is probably weeds. We're just gonna let it go and see what grows. So, but I do know that some of these are definitely wildflower seeds that are starting to come up. So I'm hoping we'll have a good smattering of flowers in these two boxes this summer. When we go over to the potato beds where we had planted the potatoes, we still don't have anything coming up. I kind of predicted that this was going to take a couple of weeks because we did just throw the seed potatoes in without pre-sprouting them, so I think it's going to take some time. But we'll keep checking in here. That green right there is a weed. That's not a potato. But we'll keep checking in, and hopefully in the next week or two we should start to see something coming above ground. So we'll leave that is. I have a feeling we're gonna have to come back and weed in a week or two, because you can see there's tiny little weeds starting to come up. They're too tiny for me to really care about right now, but pretty soon I'll come back and use one of our weeding tools in order to get those out. Over here in our perennial bed is actually looking really nice this year. We did get all that mulch down, so now all of our plants, these are going to be some daisies that are going to come up. We have a lot of things growing right now, and again, these are perennials, so they're coming back year after year. We've got some chives, we've got some coneflower echinacea in there, We've got, these are scabiosas. You'll see that our milkweed is still not growing yet. Lots of grasses. Lilac should probably bloom fairly soon. You'll see those purple buds on there. And then over here, come around the side, I'll show you. These two blue markers are where we planted milkweed last year. And you'll see this one is coming up really nice, which is great because we should have our butterfly larvae soon. So we're gonna need some leaves to get them started on. Don't know if we'll be able to use these, but I'm hoping, seeing as those leaves are actually starting to come out, that in the next week or so we should have something we can feed them. This one still making its way above ground, so not as much activity there. So that's pretty much it that's going on in the garden right now. Hopefully this week we'll be able to get a few more plants in, some carrots maybe, get the trellis up, and then maybe some annual flowers to go along the front here by our sign. And then also we'll clean out these planter boxes in the front and maybe put some flowers in there as well. And I think that should be it for the season, since we won't be returning to school this year. But at least we'll see some stuff growing as kids come by the school, as they're going for a walk or maybe playing with their friends. So I will check back in as soon as we get more stuff going on. Have a great week.